So today's video, we're going to look at a classic technique for resampling. So we're going to start by opening up a Vital. So we're going to go with a resound inside of Vital, but any kind of sound will do, to be honest. It doesn't matter what the actual source sound is when it comes to this. So let's put this down to 0, and we'll bring this down a little bit so we get... So we're kind of there, nice and simple, basic res. So what we want to achieve here is a long sustained note to start with, but we need a fair bit of movement in it. So we're going to start moving a few things around a little bit. Let's add a little bit of movement into this. Go to the matrix and make this go both ways. So we can get this to move about a bit. Okay, nice and simple. We could put this down so it's a bit slower as well. We could also add a couple of effects to this sound as well to give it a bit of movement. So let's go into a bit of chorus, for example. Let's add this to the mix a bit. And what we could also add is we could add a little bit of randomness to some of these effects as well. So let's go into a distortion, and we could add a bit of a random to the drive, for example. In this one, let's set that to sync mode. Let's go sign into it. And let's put some of this randomness on. First of all, the cutoff, so it can go left a little bit. We can also push up the gain a little bit with this as well. We're also going to do that to the high band as well. So let's just do that on here. Same thing. Put this little bit on the resonance. We'll put a bit on the cutoff. We can go kind of forward with this one. And we'll also put a bit on the gain. So it moves the gain a bit. And let's play around with this as well. So let's make this, for example, in the tempo mode. Let's just go to seconds. Okay, so we've got a bit of random movement going in on this equalizer now. Let's also add a filter here, and let's make this into a notch filter. So let's just come and turn this into a notch. Let's put this like here, and then we can move this up and down here. So let's just now go and add this LFO, I believe, for this one. We'll do. So if I'm around here somewhere. Volume up. And there we go. Here we have the bounce of this sound. So what we need to do now is go ahead and put this in a sampler. Now, nowadays, we have so many options that we could do here. We could go ahead, for example, into Vital. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this audio into the sampler in Vital. So this is one option that we could do. So we could go ahead and then reprocess this using the effects in Vital again. We can also play around with the sampler as well, but it's quite limited, the sampler within Vital. As you can see, I can't select loop points, I can't move around my loop points, etc. So it's a bit limited to what we want to do here, but it is an option. Let's close this, and a better option would be to choose Serum 2. So if you went into Serum 2, you could then go into sampler mode up here, and you've got all these different modes to choose from, to be honest. So you've got loads of different things you could do with synth sound. But to put it into sampler mode, we just go here and we just drag that in here. We've now got this in here, but we've got far more control as to what we can do with it. So we could say forward loop. We could then play around with the length of this loop, like where do we want the loop to start? Okay, how long do we want the loop to be? Do we want any fading? So let's put some crossfade in there, and we get you can hear we start to get the different wobbles. So we can start to create something like that in Serum. And then obviously you can go to the effects and you put loads of effects on this as well. But you can see we can create different start points and we can create different vibes. This could also be done in any sampler as well. So let's just quickly come out of Serum and let's have a look and see if we were to create a sampler in here. Okay, so we got this in the sampler. I've just turned down the key tracking as well, so that the velocity sensitivity to 0, so that it always plays at the same volume. It's on C3 already, like it was before, so the C note is already lined up. We don't need to change the root keys. And we've once again got control here of our loop points. If we play it in reverse, we can move this, or we want to play it forward. And then we can start to play around with our loop points as well. We want it to loop just forward. Do we want it to loop forward and then backwards? So we can start to create different vibes with that. We can set up the length or where it actually loops from. Once again, we want this to kind of fade in as well, so we can play with the fade here. When we start to move this around, so we can start to move this. We can turn the glide up as well. So what we can do now is to move these two together to get different start points. Is we can just go into here, we'll set up a macro. So we go to macro, add this in here, click on here, and then we want to set this to the play, and we want to set it to the loop as well. Done, there we go. And now when we move this, both of these. So we start to get some really cool kind of Reeses, and we haven't even got any processing on it yet. All we've done is just bounced from the synth into here, and we're starting to get some really cool like sweet spots from this sample because it's moving about so much. And we're also starting to create that kind of original old school kind of gets faster as we go higher up the key style thing. And so this is a really old school technique. It's been used for years. So don't be afraid when you make something in a synth to put it into a sampler, whether that be in Serum or whether that be inside your DAW, because once you get it into a sampler, as you can see, you can really start to get some different sounds out of it. And it kind of sounds more like what we're used to as a Reese as well, or whatever bass line you're using. Like I said at the beginning, you can use all sorts of basses to do this technique. It doesn't just have to be a Reese. And you can get some really cool, interesting results. And this is part one of this video, because in the next video, we're going to look at creating sound sets to put these kind of sounds through. And if you're wondering what I mean by that, well, you're going to have to wait for the next video to come out, I'm afraid, which will be next week. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.